It seems like the tides may start shifting or turning around, guys. You know why? Because these ETFs are the trigger, okay, which will unlock a lot of liquidity for XRP, which will then make the price move higher. So I have ultra bullish news specifically for XRP. I don't know about these other coins. Reason being is because there's an isolated event coming up, I think, in my opinion, in the month of November. Today's a day, right? Today's a day. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But we got key dates from COB. Government shutdown just in time to suppress XRP and not get the ETFs through, right? So the ETFs are, or well at least Grayscale's XRP ETF application, October 18th, is due today, right? But are we going to get any answer for it? Or will it be delayed, right? October 19th, 20th, 23, 24, 25th, November 14th, right? All deadlines, guys, for XRP ETFs, right, from these different institutions. The question is, which one of these dates will it truly go live, right? It could happen any time now, okay, basically. But there's a government shutdown, which is an obstacle, right? That's the issue. Now, you know what's so weird about these ETFs going live, though, quite soon? It actually matches up with the charts exploding, right? I could actually see XRP creating a new all-time high while Bitcoin doesn't. There's actually a chance of this happening, and it's all due to the XRP versus Bitcoin pairing, XRP versus Ethereum pairing. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit, okay? But it's odd to me that the timing, which I have believed this for a while now, I think we're going to experience deja vu again, right? We're going to experience deja vu next month, okay? But watch, look at this. Solana spot ETF approved, right? Solana ETF approval is ready. Solana spot ETF approved by SEC supposedly during this shutdown. So I don't know how any of this makes sense. If this is true to be in fact, yes, a Solana spot ETF has been approved by the US SEC, which with the SEC on October 16th, 2025. Which is typically the final step before launch and indicates that regulatory approval has been granted. Additionally, Hong Kong has launched the world's first Solana spot ETF. So how is that even possible, right, when the government is shut down and they're not looking at these at all? But supposedly for Solana, they just did, right? So maybe if that is the case, these will go live here any minute now, right? If they did for Solana, they have to do for XRP because that wouldn't be a level playing field if they didn't. But if they haven't and this news is fake, guys, that means it will all be unleashed in a single day, okay, which will be overnight. So let's say the ETF approvals are ready to go, but there's just that one issue, which is the government shutdown. How long will this shutdown last? Well, we got an update. So the US government shutdown is now forecasted to last more than 40 days. This would shatter the record of 35 days in 2019, right? So this goes into November. Okay, into November. Which again, that's so odd to me, right? November was what's it called? The month where XRP 6x'd, right? It was last year, to be in fact. That's why I'm saying possibly we're about to re-experience that this year in the month of November, right? And the charts are actually pointing to that as well. But first, look at what this person says. I got a feeling on XRP, same feeling I had buying at 50 cents before a 600% pump exactly 1 year ago. It's coming, I can promise you that, and just like last time, most will be absolutely devastated sitting on the sidelines. I tried to warn you. So this person bought XRP at 50 cents right before the price explosion happened, literally right before, right? Because of his feeling that he had inside, guys, right? That intuition of his. And that same feeling is reappearing right now, right? He's experiencing deja vu. Guys, the people are experiencing the same feeling which they had before XRP pumped a lot. And they're having the same feeling right now, right? So let's quickly talk about my charts, and then there's a few more charts that backs our charts too. So how do I know? Okay, extrovert. If there's a will, there's a way. So if we know that XRP will have this price movement higher, why and how will that be the case? The how is the ETFs unlocking, right? Which will be the narrative for XRP to be pushed higher. But the why is the charts approve of it. The charts approve of it. Okay? Such as we have to look on these pairings, the XRP versus ETH, XRP versus Bitcoin. So these pairings, guys, are extremely bullish to me. Okay? Which signal up these charts go, right? It's gonna pump. I don't see these charts pumping and XRP actually in fact dumping. That wouldn't make sense to me, right? Due to Ethereum and Bitcoin would have a larger dump than XRP. That wouldn't make sense, right? It's always XRP that has a larger dump than ETH and Bitcoin. Okay, if this chart were to go higher and Bitcoin and ETH were dumping, okay, but instead this would mean a pump is coming for XRP due to the chart flying higher, right? And XRP is going to outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin. So now that we got that out of the way, guys, if we see green candles, it's outperforming Ethereum. For this chart, it's outperforming Bitcoin if we see green candles, okay? But first, let's talk about Ethereum here, or XRP versus ETH, that is, this pairing. So, you know what I found fascinating, guys? I'm just seeing crazy bullish divergences form. Just look at this, right? Right? There are just so many bullish divergences from this area all the way to down there. Then the 2-day, the same exact thing, but now it gets even more interesting. Why? Now there isn't only bullish divergences from here to there to there to there, but now there's an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is the most bullish pattern in my pattern book, right? From here to here to here, which means minimum, I think we go all the way up here, okay? That's on the 2-day. The 3-day has the same exact thing. Look at that, the same pattern forming. That's the 3-day. The 4-day, the same exact pattern forming, right? The 5-day, very extremely oversold. Okay, the 6-day, extremely oversold. The 8-day, getting to oversold areas, right? 9-day, same thing. 10-day, same thing, right? The weekly. So it just touched oversold. You guys, you see what I'm talking about here, right? And then there's the 2-weekly. Don't forget about the 2-weekly, which is actually the most explosive chart I've ever recognized. From here to here, I can't even see because it's all the way down there, guys. This pivot, look at that, right? That's what you call a beautiful bullish divergence, or a hidden one. Okay, when this gets confirmed, guys, and this starts to move higher like this, that's it. I'm thinking there's a possibility that this creates a new all-time high, right? So how high can XRP's price go then if we do hit a new all-time high here, right, for this pairing? Well, that's minimum 130% on top of what Ethereum will do. Minimum 130% for XRP will take XRP where? 130% takes XRP to $5.40, but that's minimum, right? That means if Ethereum stays stable, which it won't do. Let's say Ethereum pumps 20%, 150% pump for XRP, which takes XRP to $6. You guys see what we're talking about here, right? Because it all depends on this chart, right? And XRP versus Bitcoin as well. But for now, look at that, right? It matches up perfectly. This is why I'm starting to feel excited, specifically for XRP. Okay. For Bitcoin, I do believe this as well. At some point, I do believe Bitcoin will go back to have a retrace here, right? It's going to be during this window of time where XRP will have to create its move. Okay, that's what I foresee. It's going to be during this period where XRP will have that window to fly as fast as high as it can before possibly Bitcoin then dies, right? So XRP, so imagine XRP here, guys. XRP pumps like this, but Bitcoin only stalls out there, right? But XRP goes all the way up here, right? Then it price protects itself because Bitcoin then dumps, right? So what are we thinking? Well, that's my analysis here. That's what I think, and that's what I foresee happening quite soon, right? Now, there are a few charts that backs this up as well, because I thought I was imagining things, but possibly not. Because imagine how mad the timeline would be if XRP ran back the same playbook it did in December of 2017 after it was rugged, wigged to practically zero on Binance immediately before ripping to new all-time highs, right? So he's looking at this chart, guys. He's basically he's like, history is going to repeat here for XRP, that is, okay? And back right before the price explosion in 2017 happened, end of year of 2017, right? They had a scam wick on Binance, which made it to go to zero, right? Flushed everyone out who was long XRP there. That was diabolical, if you ask me. The same thing literally repeated to a smaller scale now. You guys see this wick right there, right? Which means a pump. Okay, so again, it matches up perfectly, which is why I think minimum we're going to see a crazy pump, but there's a chance of it going to new all-time highs, right? Look at this. In October last year, the price of XRP did exactly what it's doing now. A big shakeout followed by a sudden rise, which was 800% plus. But this time, plus 800%. But this time, the sudden rise will be different, coinciding with ETF supply shock and the implementation of ISO 20022. I don't know about the ISO part, but I do believe the ETFs will play a pivotal role in the pump of XRP coming up soon. So the timeline is clear. When the ETFs go live, that's when the price explosion will happen. Okay, so we have our time set to accumulate as much as XRP until that day, guys, right? Because previously, heading into November, it actually dumped 26%, which it's doing right now, by the way. But when November struck, right, early November, due to an external catalyst, which was Trump being in office, but our external catalyst for this year is the ETFs launching, right? It did that, and it's probably going to repeat quite soon. That's my belief here, and we'll see, right? Will we get it correct? Because we have been correct thus far with all these small moves and big moves and large moves happening with XRP. I do think we're on the money here. Not beneath your voice, let us prepare. I guess time will tell, but I'm getting truly excited now. Not beneath your voice. My name is Sophie's. See ya. Not beneath your voice. Wow.